Today, we're diving into a topic that's absolutely crucial for hotels: profitability, cost of sale. This is a meaty topic, but we are going to break it down in a way that's easy to follow and super relevant. We've already talked about how distribution is key to maximizing revenue and profitability, right? But today, we're going to dive in a bit deeper. We're going to look at the cost of doing business with different channels. Because let's face it, revenue is great, but if your costs are through the roof, profitability takes a mighty hit. So, how do you keep track of all this when things are constantly changing? And what are the key areas you need to keep an eye on? Let's get into it. All right. The first thing we need to talk about is your channel mix. Every hotel works with different booking channels, whether it's OTAs, wholesalers, direct bookings through your websites, or even corporate bookings through the GDS. But here's the thing: depending on your mix, your costs can either go up or down. For example, if the majority of your bookings comes from major OTAs like Expedia or Booking, you're likely paying higher commissions, sometimes upwards of 15, 20, or even 25%. And let's be honest, that cuts into your bottom line. Some hotels rely so heavily on OTAs that 50% or more of their bookings come from these platforms. That is a lot of commission money. So, how do you manage that? Well, you need to be smart about your distribution strategy, and more on that in a bit. Let's talk about direct bookings. Ideally, you want as much business as possible coming through your own website and direct channels, right? But here's a challenge: building a solid direct booking strategy takes time, resources, and you guessed it, a reasonable amount of money. Plus, you're not just competing with other hotels, you're competing with OTAs that have massive marketing budgets and a super easy booking process. So, even though direct bookings can be cheaper in terms of commission, it's not always a walk in the park to get them. And here's a kicker: if most of your bookings are coming from just one or two channels, it becomes a lot harder to manage costs unless they are through your direct channels. But if you've got too many diverse channels, you've got a different problem as well. Keeping rates and content consistent across all these platforms can be a nightmare. Now, let's talk about promotions. They can be super effective, but they also come with a cost. For example, OTAs often offer the option to participate in special promotions or campaigns, like giving your hotel more visibility in exchange for a higher commission. It sounds tempting, always, and sometimes it's totally worth it. But if you're not careful, it can really eat into your profits. Could be another 10 or 15% gone before you know it. And don't forget about loyalty discounts, not just for your own loyalty programs, but for those run by the OTAs like Booking.com Genius or Expedia One. To participate, you usually need to offer an additional discount, which again adds to your cost of sale. Another big factor: rate leaks and inconsistencies. When you're working with a large number of distribution partners, it can be tough to keep track of how your rates are being displayed. Sometimes rates meant for closed user groups like a wholesaler or a corporate contract end up leaking into public channels. And when that happens, it creates confusion for travelers and might even shift business for you to a more expensive channel. It's also a trust issue. If a guest sees one rate on your brand website and a completely different rate on an OTA, they're not going to feel confident booking directly with you. And that's a missed opportunity for a cheaper direct booking.